All. Dear students, Jai Hind, very good morning. Welcome back. As you all know, in chapter number 6, Ratio and Proportion, we are we have been continuing the topic of compound interest. In the topic of compound interest, so far, in all our lectures, we have discussed how to find compound interest. Then we also discussed how to find periods, number of periods. I mean to say how to find principal. We have discussed so far all these examples, and I told you if you just stick to the basics of the formula A equal to P into bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N, you will come to know, as we have been discussing in our lecture, that there are four unknowns A, P, R, N. We have so far till lecture number 12 understood how to find A, how to find P, that's principal, how to find R, that we have already discussed so far in our lectures. Dear student, in today's lecture, our target is to discuss example based on how to find rate of interest. We are going to discuss these examples only where we have to find rate of interest. Understand? So, before we start, as you know, dear student, the title of the chapter number 6, okay? Title of the chapter, Ratio and Proportion, chapter 6, okay? Ratio and Proportion. And in that, dear student, today you are attending lecture number 13, where we are targeting the topic of compound interest, and in that we are going to discuss specifically examples of finding rate of interest. That is what we are targeting. And dear student, you all know, wherever you have to find any particular unknown, as you know, there is some specific method involved in finding any unknown, that you all must be knowing. A specific method which once I will teach you here will help you understand to find anyhow you are able to find understood rate of interest. Okay. So dear student, let us solve examples in today's lecture where we are going to target how to find compound interest. Okay. Let us first write one particular example. Okay. So please note down what is our target, dear student, in today's lecture: to solve examples involving how to find rate of interest. Let me take one example for you. Please note down. What is the example? Determine, note down with me, okay? Determine the determine the rate of interest per annum, okay? Means annual, dear student, you know. And rate of interest no doubt are modified as per the demand, either quarterly, half yearly, or annually. That is, minor modification is required as per the data of the sum, but basic is it is always per annum. Determine the rate of interest per annum if determine the rate of interest per annum if rupees 25,000. Determine the rate of interest per annum if rupees 25,000 amounts to. You need to understand and verify each and every word, dear student. Amounts to rupees. Determine the rate of interest per annum if rupees 25,000 amounts to rupees 26,010. Okay. In 6 months. In 6 months, if interest is calculated quarterly. Okay, dear student, this is the example. First, you please do one thing, note down the given data and just assess the given data and try to understand how can we solve this particular example. What is important for you is to first analyze the given data and try to gather what has been given in the data of the sum. That is very important. Determine the rate of interest per annum if rupees 25,000 amounts to 26,010 in 6 months if interest is calculated quarterly. This is the example, dear student, and we are looking for how to find rate of interest. Let us verify. Okay. So, dear student, read the sum, assess out the given data, and let us represent the given data this way. Okay. What is the principal amount given? That's rupees 25,000. This is the principal amount given. What is the compounded amount has been given? Rupees 26,010. This is the amount, dear student, has been given. Interest is to be compounded quarterly, and the period has been given of 6 months, dear student. So you can catch things very easily. 6 months, and interest is to be compounded quarterly. So 6 months includes how many quarters? 2 quarters. Okay. So let me write here n equal to 2. Okay, dear student, because 6 months includes 2 quarters. You can understand 1 quarter of 3 months. And we are looking for rate of interest. This is, my dear student, the presentation of the data. Principal rupees 25,000, amount rupees 26010, interest to be compounded quarterly in the period of 6 months, which includes 2 quarters, as you all know. This is the presentation of the data. And let us go for solving the example. Okay. Let me first write formula of compounded amount for you. A equals to, dear student, P into bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to n. Okay. Whatever steps I explain you, dear student, on the board, please be watchful, because whenever you have to find rate of interest, you will follow the same track of the method. Understood? Let us substitute. Okay. Instead of amount, I have to write 26010 is equal to, instead of principal, I have to write 25,000 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power of 2. Okay, dear student, this is the first step we have done, just substituting all the necessary values. Now the next step, mind it, what we are doing now, you have to transfer this value, principal value 25,000, here in the denominator. Please try to understand the steps involved in solving this example. I am doing it here. Okay. So 26010 upon, please, you can also do steps with me. Okay. So what is left on the right side, dear student? 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power of 2. Okay. After doing this step, dear student, 10 cancelled. Further cancellation can be done if possible. If not possible, you do not have to do any further cancellation. Here units digit 1, here 0. So rest of the cancellation will not be possible here. So let me write the remaining number as it is. 2601 upon 2500, 1 plus r upon 100 raised to 2. Now, dear student, comes the logic, okay? What you need to do now is, dear student, if you want to compare terms on both the side, you have to be very watchful here. What is the power here? 2. So, dear student, number on the left side are necessarily square of some number. This is fixed. If here you get power 3, then the number on the left side are definitely a cube of some particular number. That's fixed. You understood this. So now you need to start applying your logic, because the power appears here is 2. That simply means that this 2 number must have been the square of some particular number. 2500 is a square of 50. 2601 is a square of 51. This is what you have to verify and check by yourself. Understood? So, dear student, can we write this way? Instead of 2601, let me write 51. Instead of 2500, let me write 50 whole square equal to 1 plus r upon 100 raised to the power 2. Is it clear, dear student? Now, in between equal to sign, power similar, so base can be compared. So let me write. I am writing this first and this last. Therefore, 1 plus r upon 100, I have written this first, equal to 51 upon 50. Is it clear, dear student, the steps involved in this? Next step will be transferring 1 on right side. Mind all the important steps involved. Therefore, r upon 100 equal to 51 upon 50 minus 1. Is it becoming clear in your mind? Okay. Now, dear student, step of LCM. You all are aware of this. 50 will multiply with 1. So, in numerator, 51 minus 50. Understand? Upon 50. I am carrying out the next steps here. Therefore, r upon 100 raised to 51 minus 50 upon 50. Is it clear in your mind? Okay. Therefore, r upon 100 equal to 1 upon 50. Okay. Now simple cross r equal to 100 into 100 upon 50. Further cancellation. So r equal to 2%. Okay. So finally, dear student, you can write, therefore, rate of interest is 2%. Okay. please, before we go for solving next example, just be watchful the steps involved in finding the rate of interest. You need to be very watchful, dear student, and please note down the given data. Okay? We have continued this sum in three parts on the board. First here, then dear student, second part, and then third part. Okay? Right? You just verify how I have solved the example, dear student. And before we go for solving the next example, you need to be very sure about the steps involved in this. First, just have a look at the sum. Simple, reading the given data, accessing the data, presenting the data in proper, correct way, understood, then just substituting the value, transferring here, and then a simple application of the logic which is involved. That here you got the power 2 on the right side, and you have to start applying your logic to get same power here, means the number appearing on the left hand side are somewhere, if the power is 2 on the right side, they must be the square of sum of the specific number. And then, dear student, you just see the steps. 2 base are compared, 1 is transferred, LCM 100 cross multiplied. Please check before we solve one another example, okay, where also we are looking for finding rate of interest. Okay, first you just have a look at this, then I would like to go for another example. As far as your textbook is concerned, there are no many such example given. Okay, they have just given one example, so we are taking some of the example for your practice for some other book. Okay, so first you note down, and now let us go for another example, dear student. Is it clear in your mind? Okay, so dear student, one more example, okay, of finding a rate of interest only. Okay, before I write down another example here on the board, you should at least verify the steps involved in solving this particular example. Be very watchful. Understand? So, example number 2. Okay, dear student, write down at, this is the example, at what rate of interest, at what rate of interest per annum, okay, at what rate of interest per annum rupees. Rupees 10,000 amounts to at what rate of interest per annum? Rupees 10,000 amounts to rupees 13310. Rupees 10,000 amounts to rupees 13310 in 3 years. Okay, dear student, this is the example given here. First, you just read the data, okay, just assess out, and we are actually solving this one more example for you so that you can understand it perfectly, okay, and then one more SLP, right? What is given, dear student? Principal has been given, amount has been given, annual, it's a period of 3 years, so just do not have to think or to decide n, it is simply n equal to 3. Okay, let us first represent the given data. Okay, what is the principal given? Rupees 10,000. Okay. What is the amount given? Rupees 13310, 13,310. The number of year here the already given. Interest is to be counted annually for a tenure of 3 years. And dear student, we are looking for rate of interest. First, you just simply verify. P has been given, A has been given, N has been given, and you are looking for R, that is rate of interest. Okay, dear student, let us carry out the sum. First formula as usual, A equal to P into bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N. Okay, dear student. After writing the formula, let us substitute the values. What is the amount given? 13310, dear student. What is the principal given? 10,000. Okay, dear student. 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N, that is 3. Okay. The first step, first representing data and substituting the value, and you must be remembering the step involved. 10,000 to be transferred here. So, dear student, this is like this: 13310 upon 10,000. Okay. What is left on the right side now? 1 plus r upon 100 raised to the power of 3, dear student. 1 0 is getting cancelled here. Rest of the cancellation doesn't seem possible. So you just write 1331 upon 1000 equals to 1 plus r upon 100 raised to the power of 3. And now, dear student, simply comes the logic. What is the power appearing here? 3. That simply means because the power is 3 here, somehow the number which are appearing on the left side must be the cube of some specific number. That's the clear logic you need to apply. Understood? So, dear student, you have to guess now 1000. Obviously, it is a cube of 10. 1331 is a cube of 11. This needs to be very, very clear in your mind, and it is important as well also. Okay? So, dear student, you will write 11 upon 10 raised to the power of 3 equals to 1 plus r upon 100 raised to the power of 3. Okay, because on both the side appears the same power, we can compare the base. Let us compare this. First I will write this 1 plus r upon 100 is equal to, I would like to write this now, 11 upon 10. The next step involved 1 plus r upon 100, or just a minute, dear student. We like to transfer 1 on that side. So, r upon 100 equal to 11 upon 10 minus 1. The next step, r upon 100, as you know, you have to take LCM. 11 minus 10 upon 10. Okay. So, r upon 100 equals to 1 upon 10. The next step, just a cross multiplication. 100 into 100 upon 10 just cancel out. So you got r equal to 10%. That's the rate of interest. Before I give one more example as an SLP, you first just have a look at the given data. Okay, then you will solve one example by yourself. Okay, first you just have a look at the data. Just write down the given all steps involved in solving this particular example. Here, dear student, you have to be very watchful. Understand? You need to be very watchful in solving examples here. Okay, so one more example, dear student, as an SLP just now. Okay, you will be given 3 to 4 minutes time to solve the sum comfortably. Okay, and then the same example will be solved on the board by me so that you can understand it. Okay, let me write the example for you. Just write down third, which you will solve as an SLP. Okay, at what at what rate of interest, at what rate of interest per annum, okay, rupees, what has been given, rupees 2000 amounts to at what rate of interest per annum rupees 2000 amounts to rupees 2662 in 1.5 year, 1.5 year, if interest is calculated calculated half yearly. If interest is calculated half yearly. Okay, dear student, first note down the sum, and just 3 minutes time I will deliver you to solve this example. Okay, look at the given sum. First, you need to understand the presentation of the data in the right, correct manner, and then you can solve this particular example. Okay, just try this out. You need to understand the given data, and accordingly you must try to solve this example. The period has been given the tenure of 1.5 year, and at the same time it also has been mentioned that interest is to be calculated half yearly. This is the data. You need to first understand the data and accordingly you should try to solve this particular example. Okay. Just 2 minutes now, dear student. Just make it fast. Can we now, dear student? You must have solved it by yourself. Just have a look at the steps we are involved in solving this particular example. Okay. First, dear student, write the principal, that is rupees 2000. Okay. Then the amount has been given rupees 2662. And dear student, because you are going to compound the interest semi-annually, half yearly, for the period of 1.5 year, so obviously 1.5 year will include how many half year period? 3. And rate of interest, that's you are looking for. Okay. So this is the presentation of the given data, and actually I must utilize the word, it is understanding the given data. Right. First you have to understand the given data and accordingly you have to try to solve any particular example. Okay. Let us write the formula. Okay. A equals to P into bracket 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N. Okay, dear student, amount 2662, principal 2000, 1 plus R upon 100 raised to 3. Okay, transferring this number here, 2662 upon 2000 equals to 1 plus R upon 100 raised to N. Okay, dear student? Sorry, raised to the power 3. Further step, I would like to write this first here, dear student. 2662 upon 2000 equals to 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power of 3. The cancellation is possible here. 2000 and 21331. Okay. Now the sum is looking like the previous one. Actually the previous example with minor modification of the data. 1 plus r upon 100 raised to 3. Obviously, dear student, you can remind the first one. 11 upon 10 raised to the power of 3 equals to 1 plus r upon 100 raised to the power of 3. Power equal, terms equalize, so it's a simple question of comparing the base. Okay, 1 plus r upon 100 equal to 11 upon 10. So dear student, let us transfer 1. 11 upon 10 minus 1, looking, therefore r upon 100 equals to 1 upon 11 minus 10 upon 10. So r upon 100 equals to 1 upon 10. Simple cross multiplication, 100 upon 10 just cancel. So r equal to 10% rate of interest, looking like the previous example with minor modification of the data, whatever is required. Okay. You must have solved this by yourself, dear student, and you just verify with the example you have solved so that you can understand it. Just catch this sum, okay? And feel comfort to write it, because in today's lecture, our target is to explain you. Actually, here, my dear student, first you just note down and then we'll discuss. Actually, with this particular example, the topic of the compound interest, which in this particular chapter gets over. Okay. So, dear student, if you can remember, in this particular chapter, there were 6 to 7 topics I listed out, in which first we targeted a large topic, that was variation, that we targeted first, and then another topic I targeted, that's the topic of compound interest. Rest of the topics in this particular chapter are not so involving much logic application. They are simpler topic, understand? But these two are very important for you. That's why we have taken these two topics, variation and compound interest first. Okay. So you must have analyzed and understood this particular example. So dear student, first sum up. In the topic of compound interest, you have done examples of finding A, examples of finding P, examples of finding N, and now examples of finding R, that's the rate of interest annual. Okay. So dear student, with this the topic gets over. Okay. Thank you very much.